Mary had a little lamb. The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Things have got to change.
How many stations does this go out?
You've got to get mad.
67. I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta.
We're not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell and say, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Welcome to Cleveland. Oh my God! It was the death hour, except it was 2 hours or more. I don't know. It's wow. This is like Donald Trump is supposed to be showing how he's a businessman and he can really handle things. This is the laziest convention I've ever seen in my life. It's like they booked their guests really the day before. Like Scott Baio, he's been telling this story about how he was on like Judge Jeanine Pirro's show. What? I don't know. Some foxy older lady, like a granny cam for Fox News, like they have the older ones on there too for the old men. So he was on that show and apparently somebody checked his Twitter, to see what he was doing and who he is, and how he's. And Trump said, yeah, get him, because they can't fill the slots with real Republicans. They just like tonight we'll have a few, but you like Christie, it. Mr. Christie, like that. But I swear to God, they couldn't. They're gross. So, like, who opened the convention last night? I think I Facebooked or tweeted that it was one of the guys from Doug. I think I said Willie Robertson because we have the same. My real last name is that. So it was like I think it was Willie. And somebody said no. I thought it was the other brother or whatever. I said I can't tell them apart. Just leave me be. I mean, that is really I admit that I watched Celebrity Apprentice. I admit. Not proudly, just admit. And I'm I'm working on it. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Yeah. Coffee over there, Danish over there. God grant me the serenity to accept the GOP, the thing I cannot change. Although Donald Trump broke it so bad that now he can't get anybody from that party to be at his party. And so he's booking the weirdest. Tonight, you got the pro golfer, Natalie Gulbis. Natalie Gulbis, everybody. Natalie Gulbis. Ranked like 423rd in the women's golf rankings, which is like 12 people. How she came in 458, I don't know. But a swimsuit illustrated model. So that's good. And then Donald Trump's children, the baby Trumps. I think you get, the one that we don't know, the Tiffany. So that ought to be exciting. All she got from Donald, it's so weird. She had Marla Maples as a mother and Donald as a father, and you would think those are like really stunning genes. She got like Donald's pie hole. He's got that perfect little pie hole. Like, I really never understood what a pie hole was until I saw Donald Trump. I went, oh, I get it. It's a perfect little round hole for pie. Perfect little pie hole. Well, she got that. She got that from him. She has that perfect little pie hole. And then nothing really great from the other side of it. I don't know. It's just the weird kids. They're just very, and they're picking, I'm sorry, but if they get to pick not mine, but the vice presidential candidate, if they get to pick their dads, which they did, they picked Mike Pence. They picked the kids are running the show. The kids are running the whole campaign. The kids picked Mike Pence to be the vice president. I mean, so they're on the table. Gotta say, they get served up because when you have the kids running the campaign, that is a new low, even for GOP presidential politics. I know George worked on his dad's campaign, but not alone. Because if he did, then the convention would have been somewhere in Syria. I mean, the guy is just, he misses by like continents. He's just not good at that. Yeah, Afghanistan was in Asia over there. Iraq, sort of Middle Easty. So I just, but the kids are, and we got Mike Pence, who now, Mike Pence refuses, he's the one that wants to refuse service to gay people. He wants to refuse service to gay people. And I got to say, I mean, it's like he wants to ban all abortions and, obviously, and then, ban service to gay. This is his platform. This is upon what he stands, which I thought was already decided by the United States Supreme Court. But of course, they think that if they get a shot at the presidency, they'll put some people on that, hate gays as much as they do. So it's really creepy. But then you had Stephen King. I don't know if you saw Stephen King last night being interviewed on the MSNBC. I flipped through all the channels. I actually saw Donald Trump when Pat Smith, the mother of I always forget one of the guys that was it was a computer guy from Chris Stevens, or is Pat Stevens? No, it wasn't Chris Stevens. It was the computer guy from Benghazi. When she was talking and weeping and lying about Hillary being mean to her because all the other parents of the people that we lost in Benghazi, they all said that Obama was unbelievably gracious and that he was weeping, and so was Hillary when she was there with them. And so anyway, I don't know what this woman's problem is. I'm guessing it's an oxy thing. I don't really know why, but she was calling for Hillary to be put behind bars, and you had all these speakers. I mean, it was the angry. It was the death hour. It was like the angriest, most frustrated death metal. I mean, they should be in like a granny death metal band, all of them. It is like the creepiest assemblage of weirdness and hatred and frustration, and Melania, I mean, she overshadowed everybody because, well, at first I thought it was because she's stunningly beautiful and she talked about fashion, which involves a lot of gay craftsmen to make a woman look like that. Okay, you don't just roll out of bed looking like Melania Trump. And like I said yesterday, really, I was hoping she would give me some of the tips that she got from some of the gay craftsmen that work upon her. That's what I wanted. I wanted to know, does a Brazilian really hurt? This is what I said. People tweeted that. And I meant it. This is the information I want. She worked in the fashion industry. I want to know, are those extensions or is that your real hair? And if they are extensions, how do you get a brush through it? And if I go swimming, will you be able to see like the part where they sewed it up? This is what I want from a Melania. This is what I need from a Melania. I don't need her to steal Michelle Obama's speech, which obviously everybody knows happened. It happened. Somebody and the whole you look at the whole presentation last night, it was, well, the death knell it was boring. That's the death knell. And it was lazy. So Donald Trump is trying to tell you he's the guy, he's this, he's that. Donald gets things done. Donald gets things done. Donald! Oh, and Rudy Giuliani, he's lost his freaking mind. That man is batshit crazy.
There's no next election. This is it.
This is it.
There's no more time for us left to revive our great country. No more time to repeat our mistakes of the Clinton, Obama years. Washington needs a complete turnaround, and Donald Trump is the agent of change, and he will be the leader of the change we need. He will make America once again like the president I worked for, Ronald Reagan.
So long ago, Rudy. Still riding that.
The shining city on the hill. Vote for Donald Trump, for a safer America, and for an America headed in a different direction. Greatness!
Oh my God! Oh, he's batshit crazy. I mean, he's gone mad. He also promised that Donald Trump will do for America what he did to New York. You do know that his police commissioner, Rudy Giuliani's police commissioner, went to federal prison. You do know that, right? Rudy Giuliani's police commissioner went to federal prison. Bernie Kerik went to federal prison for doing construction deals, with the mafia. So he'll do. Donald Trump will, I'm telling you, this wall thing, it's all a construction thing for Trump construction. I'm telling you, I know this. If it's real at all, okay? And who the hell knows, because every day is that was a freak show. And we've got, 3 more days of it? I'm going to go crazy. 17 after.
I'm Rick Smith, and this is Labor History in 2. On this day in labor history, the year was 1848. That was the day the Convention on Women's Rights began in Seneca Falls, New York. The organizers of this convention brought together some of the leading women's activists of the day, such as Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Lucretia Mott. The meeting included numerous discussions on the role of women in society. Leaders presented a declaration of sentiments. It included a list of oppressions faced by women of the day. Several had to do with work and economic issues. For example, it noted that men monopolized nearly all the profitable employments, while women could earn only a scanty remuneration. It also declared he closes against her all the avenues of wealth and distinction, which he considers most honorable to himself. As a teacher of theology, medicine, or law, she is not known. Despite these limitations, many women, poor women in particular, were forced by economic necessity to work. By 1840, 8,000 women and girls as young as 13 worked in the New England textile mills. Women almost always earned far less than men. Female textile mill workers in Massachusetts had formed the first union of working women in the United States, the Lowell Female Labor Reform Association. Of course, the Seneca Falls Women's Rights Convention provoked scorn and outrage from many, especially men. A local newspaper wrote, "This bolt is the most shocking and unnatural incident ever recorded in the history of womanity. If our ladies will insist on voting and legislating, where, gentlemen, will be our dinners and our elbows? Where are our domestic firesides and the holes in our stockings?" Even today, women still earn less than men. For every dollar men earn, women only earn 78 cents. Labor History in 2 brought to you by the Illinois Labor History Society and The Rick Smith Show.
I am Fidel Nsombo. I was born in a city called Bukavu in the Congo. We were a loving family, and then, boom, everything that I had disappeared in a single day. People think that when you are a refugee and they resettle you to America, and all your problems are done. They don't understand that that's the beginning of everything. I was not born a refugee. I was made one.
It's time we welcome refugee families with open arms. Learn more at embracerefugees.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
For a commercial-free, on-demand, whenever, wherever listening experience, visit RandiRhodes.com for your personal premium podcast today.
We know We know the risk you're taking. And we say thank you to every police officer and law enforcement agent who's out tonight protecting us, black, white, Latino, of every race, every color, every creed, every sexual orientation. When they come to save your life, they don't ask if you are black or white. They just come to save you.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I just got to say, I have read you so many stories over the years about how people, there was this one about a mom who, her sister called 911 because she heard a commotion in the house and asked the police to go check on her sister. And they didn't show up for hours and hours. That was number one. So, the rest of the story is brutal. Absolutely brutal, because the mom was already sleeping by the time they got there. And then when they got there in front of the 9-year-old daughter, the mom answered the door with her T-shirt and underwear, and the police, pretty much beat the crap out of her in front of her daughter while she was handcuffed. So, and anybody remember something called Hurricane Katrina? Does anybody remember it? Rudy, anybody? Hurricane Katrina? The police did not come. They just, they have a way of deciding where they're going to respond to sometimes. So yes, 15% of the police force is fabulous. 15% will always do the right thing when no one's looking. Always, always. And for that 15%, we say, thank God for you. Okay. And then you got the 15% that, will never do the right thing. No matter what, they will never do the right thing. And then you got the 70% that could go either way. They're bi. Yeah, they are. So, I mean, this whole thing about preaching to me about this one America and what happened to America and where did it go? And, of all the speeches last night, Rudy's was the most bizarre, just completely crazy, okay? He was just nuts. Oh, I guess I didn't load this. But the sheriff from Milwaukee, also Blue Lives Matter. This guy's a nutbag, too.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
I said that now going on almost 2 years ago.
No, I did that. Thanks. You're welcome.
I said that now going on almost 2 years ago that war had been declared on the American police officer. Probably said it on your program after the two of New York's finest were gunned down in their cruiser by an individual who claimed to be making amends for Mike Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Some people thought that was a little over the top, and I said war had been declared, but the American police officer knows it has. This is just another ugly chapter in that war.
Yeah. I mean, this guy got a spot last night and started screaming about how blue lives matter. Well, all lives matter, but they will really matter when black lives matter too. But he's up on this. Where did America go? What happened to it? We want one America. We want one. Which one do you want? Do you want the one pre-Civil War? Do you want the one during the Civil War? Do you want the one post-Civil War with the Jim Crow and the broken promises and the migration? Which one America are you choosing here? It's so freaky to me how they oh, and by the way, what was going on during the GOP convention? They had these chat rooms. People were weighing in on their opinions and stuff like that, and one of the chat rooms had to be closed down. I don't know if you stayed up this late, but the Republicans had to disable a live chat window on the page, on the Republican Convention Zone page, when the former governor of Hawaii, remember Linda Lingle? Linda Lingle? Anybody? Lingle? Aer Lingus? Linda Lingle. She gave a speech and she was promoting inroads that the Republicans have made with Jewish voters, and the whole chat room exploded with, JOOS, Jews, and ban Jews, and kike, which is the worst word ever. I mean, if you said that in my house, you got slapped, sort of. Nobody ever really hit us. My father would just, with the belt, you know what I mean? Or he'd rattle the paper like that. And you go, okay. No, you couldn't use that word in our house. But and press H for Hitler and all. And they couldn't control the people in the chat room who apparently were down with the One America thing, which apparently means pre-1890s, because that's kind of when the Jews started migrating from Eastern Europe, But I mean, so I can't tell which one they want, which America is the one, but they want the one. And then Stephen King was being interviewed on MSNBC. Oh, please tell me I put this in here. Please. Oh, yeah, I did. Thank God. Stephen King, who wants the Confederate flag and, all this. He was on MSNBC. And you know what his beef was? I mean, while this is all going on in there, we want one America. There is no black America. There is no stealing Obama's speech and then apparently stealing Michelle's too. I don't know. It's lazy. It's just laziness. That is what that is. Okay. But Steve King was on MSNBC and he was going, enough with the angry white thing. He said, the only culture in America that's worth anything are the white people. He actually said this crap. And poor Chris Hayes, his glasses almost spun around. He didn't know what the hell to do with that. And he go, so we're not here to discuss Western civilization. Really? That was your response to this racist ass who sat on your air and said these? You know me, I would have had a blood pressure episode, okay? There's no way I would have, what? Oh, no, here, listen to this. It's hard to hear because they're outside the convention and there's a crowd. And so it's, the audio from this convention altogether was so sucky. Yeah, it was really bad. I wanted to pull so much more and I couldn't because it was echoey and the hall sounded terrible. It wasn't mic'd properly. Also, he kept using We Are the Champions by Queen, and Brian May from Queen keeps telling the Trump people not to use their material, that it's copyrighted and they don't consent to the use of We Are the Champions by the Trump campaign. Meanwhile, yesterday I was trying to promote one of the Greens, not Seth Green, not Al Green, Tom Green. I was trying to promote the comedian, Tom Green. And so I played his Trump rap song because it's pretty freaking awesome. And he copyrighted me and pulled down my whole freaking Facebook page. So I tweeted them at Funny or Die. And I said, what's fun about that? Trying to promote you. Thanks a lot. Cost me 10,000 viewers yesterday. And it's a rolling average, baby. Damages. I got damages. Anyway, I digress. Steve King, check this out.
This whole white people business, though, does get a little tired, Charlie. I mean, I'd ask you to go back through history and figure out where are these contributions that have been made by these other categories of people that you're talking about. Where did any other subgroup of people contribute more to civilization?
Than white people?
Than Western civilization itself, that's rooted in Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and the United States of America, and every place where the footprint of Christianity settled the world. That's all of Western civilization.
Well, what about Asia? I don't want to sit here and argue in favor of We're not going to argue. We're not going to argue the history of Western civilization.
We're not going to argue the history of Western civilization. That was the comeback for Steve King sitting there and saying, this is what he said. I have the quote. He said, this old white people business does get a little tired, Charlie. I'd ask you to go back through history and figure out where are these contributions that have been made by these other categories of people that you're talking about? Where did any other subgroup of people contribute more to civilization? So first of all, if you're not a white European, you are a subgroup of some sort in this deranged serving congressman's mind in the GOP, who's interviewed last night as the convention of his party is being held, and they're all screaming, we want one America. But I think we all know which one. Yeah. I think they want the one prior to 1860. I'm just guessing. But I think that's the one that they like. Anyway, so not only are you a subgroup to the GOP, which is bizarro world, but you also, as a subgroup in America, you're the other, you've contributed nothing. I think the entire South was built on the backs of free labor. They were called slaves. I'm just saying. And then if you want to talk about civilization itself, you moron, you, Mesopotamia is Iraq. And that is the cradle of civilization. Oh my God, get out of Washington. Go explore the world. You know, who invented algebra? I mean, seriously. You have Arabic and Middle Eastern inventors and scientists that brought astronomy to the world, hence navigation. What did you contribute, you bastards? Navigation. You got math and architecture and all that stuff. You got the Chinese who actually developed systems of philosophy, among other things, the art of war. I mean, you know, the entire system of thinking about, you know, your life and I think therefore, I mean, it's an amazing thing. Everything about that was created outside the Western world. The seismograph, the freaking umbrella, spaghetti, for God's sake. It's Chinese. Gunpowder, stirrups. Oh, well. The compass. You know what I'm saying? It's such an ignorant, lazy thing that they do. And, you know, and I got to say, it could have succeeded the death hour last night. It could have been, you know, like, but even the delegates to the convention got up and left after Melania, and nobody saw any of those other I mean, nobody went back. The whole place was freaking empty. So if they won't sit through it, I don't want to sit through it. You know, and nobody wanted to sit through it. But the conversations that were being held on the TV simultaneously, and then you know, Trump is like on Fox News when Pat Smith, John is her son, when Pat Smith is blaming Hillary Clinton for the death of her son. She doesn't know why you needed a computer guy. She goes, I don't know why they needed an IT guy. I don't know why they needed a computer guy like my son. Are you kidding me? The guy was CIA. Her son was CIA. I still to this day don't know why he was there. It's because he couldn't tell you. He'd have to kill you. Oh my God. It's the most ignorant. But like I said, it could succeed in its goal if it weren't so boring. That's the death knell. The boring. But they hit every note, man. They hit anti-African American, they hit anti-Semites, they hit anti-gays, anti-women. I mean, Donald, I don't know what the hell he's thinking. He's supposed to be. Where is the Mark Burnett? He needs him. This is like, it's the worst TV ever. It's so bad. The only highlight was crazy Rudy Giuliani. He was just, and I will say Scott Baio, Chachi. Yeah, Chachi, well, we had one of the Robertsons, one of the Duck Dynasty guys, you know, he said Kaddish or Kiddush or whatever, you know, it depends where you're from. Yeah, he said a prayer. Not my prayer, but a prayer. He said a prayer. And then he gets off the stage and goes and licks his gun collection or something. I don't know what he did because it was all about hunting and fishing and what that has to do with party politics. I have no idea because people who hunt and fish. They don't say they're Democrat or Republican. They just go hunting and fishing is what it is. So I didn't understand, you know, anyway, he was licking some deer carcass or humping a gun. I don't know what he was doing. And then right after that, we had the Scott Baio. And Scott Baio cleared up some of the mysteries of the Donald Trump's prowess.
Is Donald Trump a messiah? No.
Thank God.
He's just a man.
I'm so glad he cleared up that Messiah thing because the anti-Semites would go crazy in the chat room. Go, he's the Mashiach. How could he be the Mashiach? Was kind of fascinating. But Scott Baio, can you believe people actually? And the crazy story he told was the true story, where he was on like the Granny Cam show on Fox, the Janine Pirro show or something, and You talk about a bitter old bitch. Didn't she run against Hillary for some damn thing like Senate and lost really badly? And so she's bearing a grudge. Anyway, she had Scott Baio on, and Scott Baio was seen by the Trump family, and then they checked his Twitter feed, and they said, "Ooh, he's let's have him, do." And Scott Baio was telling the story to anybody who will listen last night, like how lazy is the Trump family to begin with to book their big convention representing an entire political party in the United States the day before. I mean, you have to RSVP to a Trump event usually months in advance. He asked them the night before. So he says, yeah, and I wrote my speech in church. He says he was on granny cam, and then they saw me and they called me up. So like the next day was Sunday, and I was in church. I was writing my speech in church, and then I gave it last night. It was the weirdest thing ever. And he was saying, how Donald Trump's not he's just one man, but he's my man, and oh my man, I love him so. He'll never know when he takes me in his arms. The world is right, all right. I mean, so
is Donald Trump a messiah? No. He's just a man. A man who wants to give back to his country, America. The country that has given him everything.
Except his wife. Oh, wives. They came from Europe. A man who has gotten everything except for his wife, and except for his Chinese shirts and his Mexican suits. And his, I think the ties are from China. You know what I mean? How could you say that America is like his place? He doesn't dig America. He doesn't dig American workers. He doesn't dig anything about America. He goes over there in order to get, all those glass buildings he has? You know where the glass comes from? We have glass companies here in America. We have, Anderson, and we have... there's Pella in Iowa. We have all these glass companies, all these window manufacturers, and most of them are family owned and operated, which is the beauty of that business. However, his glass for his buildings come from China. I mean, what did he get from this country? He got nothing. Not his wife, not his glass, not his ties, not his suits, not a damn thing. This is such bullcrap. I can't even wrap my brain around why they would even walk down these roads. It's like these roads are deadly. They're full of landmines for them. They make everybody realize, oh, Donald Trump didn't get anything from this great country except his dad's money. Everything else came from somewhere else. Everything else is imported, and from his Polish workers to his Slovenian wife to his Chinese glass to his Mexican suits, to his Chinese ties. Honestly, it's so bogus. It's so hysterically, easily disproved. And then he's got all these racists and anti-Semites, and, you've got Steve King being a surrogate for him on the TV going, hey, the subculture of America doesn't create jack crap. It's only white people. I'm a little sick of you saying white people aren't the cradle of civilization. No, that would be Iraqis and Syrians. But okay, go for it. 38 after.
With Workers Independent News in depth, I'm Joanne Powers. National Nurses United delivered a petition to the Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration last week, calling on OSHA to set standards to protect workers from violence in the healthcare industry. NNU was joined by a coalition including the AFL-CIO, American Federation of Teachers, Communications Workers of America, the Teamsters, the Steel Workers, and Service Employees International Union, all saying that OSHA's current standards are insufficient to protect healthcare workers. Using Bureau of Labor Statistics data, the NNU says healthcare workers experience workplace violence several times higher than the workforce overall. NNU Health and Safety Director Bonnie Castillo says it's an escalating problem.
There there have been severe cutbacks in health care, massive cutbacks to public health and mental health and psychiatric services. And then even in the private sector, there's massive cuts in services. Once most hospitals had a psychiatric unit, for instance, and those beds have been eliminated. Some patients who need expert trained staffing and additional staffing are put in units that are not prepared to provide the level of care that that patient requires.
Castillo cites as a contributing factor the millions of Americans who are still without access to health care coverage.
By the time they show up in hospital settings, there's a pretty high level of desperation. And with that comes a high level of stress and acting out, including volatile family members.
The union says these instances are predictable, yet hospitals are not spending appropriate resources on planning, staffing, and training to deal with them.
Unfortunately, it's a profit-driven industry, and what we find is that when we're at the table, they're fighting us on ensuring that there's greater protections for nurses, for healthcare workers, for patients. Each setting is unique. It needs to have a comprehensive assessment of where there's potential for an unsafe environment. They would have to develop an individualized plan for each area of work, including the education and training of staff, including adequate numbers of staff. Nurses and workers would have to be included in developing those plans, and that's very critical. What's very important, too, is that there's no retaliation against workers who bring to attention the unsafe, precarious environment. This is the critical time to move legislation and regulation to ensure that these hospitals provide the additional safety standards. For another healthcare worker to lose their life, that's just one too many.
Brought to you by the Alliance for American Manufacturing, working to prevent the loss of American jobs caused by unfair foreign competition, and working to promote fair trade laws to level the playing field for American workers. Information on how you can help create smart, worker-focused public policy is online at americanmanufacturing.org.
You've been listening to WIN, Workers Independent News. For more information, visit laborradio.org.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
America, the greatest country God ever created. Now,
why do we say
America is an easy place to get to. But for you first-time voters, it's important for you to know what it means to be an American.
Oh, good. Tell me.
It doesn't mean getting free stuff.
I thought you were going to tell me what it does mean. What does it mean?
It means sacrificing, winning, losing, failing, succeeding, and sometimes doing the things you don't want to do, including the hard work, in order to get where you want to be. And that's what it means to be an American.
I need Chachi to tell me this.
But folks, our country right now is in a very bad spot.
We're in a bad spot.
You can feel it, and you can see it everywhere.
I can.
There's no stability. Nothing seems right. And all the things that we hold dear are being attacked every single day.
Really?
We cannot go down this road anymore. We need to stop. We need Donald Trump to fix this.
Donald will fix it. Just let it sit there for a minute. Just realize you're being lectured to by Chachi, who doesn't love Joni because Joni became homeless, and right, and Chachi did not love her. It didn't. But really, I mean, when you say, you know, that we're striving for a more perfect union, that's a true fact. He's going to sit there and tell me being an American is not getting free stuff. Get a freaking job, Scott. When was the last job you had? Do you know what I mean? He's not the Messiah. Oh, I'm glad he cleared up the Mashiach thing. You know, thank you. But I mean, it's like so amazing. So what's wrong in America? The unrest you might be sensitive to. As an actor, you must be sensitive. But The unrest that you feel is because our justice system is broken, because it's unequal justice. People are not free in this country. They're told, that they're a subculture, they're a subhuman. You've got Mike Pence who wants to take away freedom of choice. You have Mike Pence who wants to refuse service to gays. You've got Stephen King over there who thinks the only race worth anything is the white Western or Eastern. He never qualified which part of Europe he likes, but only Europeans, only European whites are worth it. I mean, this is a very sick thing. And by the way, Tamron Hall destroyed Scott Baio. Destroyed him. When you see, this really did get me last night when they go, and next we'll interview Scott Baio. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? What happened here? That you just booked him they booked him like the date. Apparently he's very free. He doesn't have a job. He can go anywhere, do any show, anytime, anywhere. You call him and he'll be there. It's really creepy. So he goes with Tamron Hall, who, Tamron Hall is a very spiritual person. I don't know what her personal religious views are, but I do know that she was very close friends with Prince. And when Prince just died, which was just a horrendous, example of what the pharmaceutical companies are doing to us, like you have a bad hip and the next thing you know, you're freaking addicted to Vicodin, and then you die. So anyway, Tamron Hall was friends with Prince, and Prince was a Jehovah's Witness, so I'm sure they had many conversations about things of religious nature because they were best friends. I mean, they talked every day. And I didn't know that until she told it, because Prince was such a private person that she didn't say it until after he passed. And so, anyway, she's talking to Scott Baio, who, explains to her how the invite happened, and she deals with one of his tweets. Now, I don't know if you've seen the Scott Baio tweet in question. Can we do it? Yeah, all right. So we're going to try something here. The Scott Baio tweet in question, I will put on the video stream right now. So wherever you're getting your video, the YouTubes, the Facebook, you'll see the tweet that Scott Baio tweeted. And you'll see his commentary on the tweet, where he writes with his own little chachi fingers, best meme ever. This has to be the best meme ever. And then hashtags it. Okay? Just keep in mind, he commented and passed it on. Okay? So anyway, here's the interview with Tamron Hall.
Should we abolish Medicare?
In my opinion, everything should, and I don't have the fix, but everything that's going broke needs to be fixed. Whether it becomes, I think Social Security should be privatized.
Private.
I think healthcare should be private. I don't think it should be government running it. Mm-hmm. I think the private sector will take care of everything in this country.
Let's talk about your speech. I know you said you went to church and you've talked about your religion. One of the things that caught my eye was this tweet that you sent out July 10th, a photo of Hillary Clinton standing in front of the word count. Mm-hmm. The O is blocking, so it appears that she is standing in front of the C word. Right. Did you think about that in church when you tweeted it out?
That's just offered up without commentary. That was just put up there.
But you know what it meant when you tweeted it out.
I just put it up there.
I guess I'm asking, you're writing your speech in church, you talk about religion coming back to this country and us having a moral barometer. Where was your moral compass when you put a photo of a woman that you disagree with politically, and that's fine. But when
Tamron, you can look at that any way you want. It's the word count. That's what she's standing in front of. I just put it up there. There's no commentary attached to it. I didn't call her anything. And the fact that you question my faith by saying I'm putting up a picture is
I'm just
not
asking,
nice.
Well, you've questioned others' faith. When you say that when you say we need to bring back religion, implying that somehow the moral compass for people that you don't even know has changed. But let me throw this out to you. 2010, you tweeted out an unflattering image of Michelle Obama with the caption, "Wow, he wakes up to this every morning." Right. Last night, well, clearly some people agree with you. But last night, I went on social media to see what you were saying about your speech, and I realized that you blocked me. Why did you block me from social media? I'm just curious.
That might have been a mistake.
That might have been a mistake, Tamron. I shouldn't have blocked you. Yeah, free speech, right, everybody? Free speech. He blocked everybody that disagreed with him, because last night there was a whole bunch of people trying to tweet him and telling, saying to him, "What are you doing there? Why are you there? And why did you tweet this thing calling Hillary a C word and lie about it. He's like, oh, I just put it up there without commentary. Yeah, no, he commented on it. He goes, this might be the best meme ever. And then he hashtagged it. So, to spread it around. I mean, they're sitting there telling us about the religion that informs their choices, the religion that forms their decency and their compassion for other humans. And then you find out that the chat room on the GOP convention site had to be shut down because of anti-Semites posting ban Jews and spelling Jews Joos because they watch Duck Dynasty. And calling Jews kikes. And then Stephen King gives an interview where, why is MSNBC outside doing these things? I mean, you can't hear a freaking word. But one good thing about the Tamron Hall bit right there is you could hear the crowd. They showed a picture of Michelle Obama, and it was really horrendous. And they pushed out her jaw, and they put giant teeth in her mouth. To make her look, let's say, more animal than human. And said he wakes up, and Scott Baio tweeted and wrote, he wakes up to this every morning. And the crowd, you could hear, is like, woo! And they're for this juvenile name-calling meme thing. It's like incredible. Like the people that support this Trump, they're punks, but they're scary punks. They're hateful punks. They're mean punks. I got to tell you, I've never seen anything like this. I mean, the message last night was clear. Brown people and Jewish people and anybody that isn't like them are making America less safe. That was the entire message of last night. And like I said, it could have worked, except it was boring. Donald Trump is the apprentice of convention throwing. And you would think this guy had learned to make a party. And oh, by the way, the guy who never uses a teleprompter, when he came out to We Are the Champions, in the gray backlight and everything, first you saw the big fat body in the middle. And then you saw two teleprompters coming up out of the, it was sort of like a Lady Gaga thing. I was waiting for the egg, something. It was so unbelievable. And then Melania comes out and they keep telling me all night last night, Melania Trump has worked on her speech for 5 to 6 weeks. It's like the bathing suit competition in one of his pageants. Melania Trump will now recite Michelle Obama's 2008 speech from the Democratic National Convention. It took her 5 to 6 weeks to read the teleprompter in English. I was like, what the? And then she did, I don't know. I guess you heard it. I mean, everybody's playing it. I'll play you the short version. Is that okay? I'll play you the short one.
You work hard for what you want in life. That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do. That you treat people with dignity and respect.
The values that you work hard for what you want in life. That your word is your bond. And you do what you say and keep your promise. That you treat people with respect.
Because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
That's just, two examples, really. There's a very, very long one I have that goes on for almost 2 minutes where, she steals almost every single line from Michelle Obama. And, the Washingtonian being numbers crunchers because they represent the lobbyists, that magazine does. They actually pointed out to me today that if I would do the math, I would know that it was a 1 in a trillion chance that many words would be identical to Michelle Obama's spot at the Democratic National Convention back in 2008 as the candidate's wife. The chance of Melania, having a speechwriter write that independently of looking at or, copying Michelle is 1 in a trillion. It's 1 in a trillion, everybody. Like, I could win Powerball before I could, make that mistake. Or I could get hit by lightning while swimming in a vortex of a riptide naked. The chance of that happening to me is more likely than Melania just made it up, or her speechwriter just, said, this is coming to me. I'm the vessel, and the words are just coming through me, and I feel the words. I feel them channeling, and they are the same as Michelle Obama's. It's just so frightening, the whole thing. Oh, Kurt in California. Hey, Kurt.
Hey, how you doing, sweetheart?
Hello. Kurt and Cali, everybody.
I get a hand clap. That's cool.
Yeah,
hey,
baby.
Have you heard from all the regulars yet?
No.
Brother David from the Bay Area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what about, there's this guy, they make fun of him on Alan Combs, but he's from Manhattan. David from Manhattan. Has he called it with you yet?
No.
Okay. I got to tell him to give you a call. Any case, before you left Clear Channel a couple years ago,
yeah,
you used to mention something about if you tell a lie often enough, big enough and often enough, people will start to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that was a Joseph Goebbels
it was
thing.
Right.
And then after you left, I really had my suspicions about what happened, and I really thought that the something was taking over our media, something was taking over, and we were in trouble. So I started watching a lot of Joseph Goebbels, a lot of Nazi documentaries, a lot of Hitler documentaries, and the more and more I watched Hitler and his speeches, and then started watching Donald Trump and his speeches, I said, something's not right here. And then I came across an article by Marie Brenner, who was at Vanity Fair in 1990. It's called After the Gold Rush. Have you seen that article?
Not lately.
Okay. Well, if you want to revisit it, it's Marie Brenner, Brenner, or Brennan, I think it is, Vanity Fair, After the Gold Rush.
I love Vanity Fair. It's my favorite magazine ever.
Yeah. Well, just look at Vanity Fair, After the Gold Rush, or Marie Brenner.
Okay.
And during that interview, it happened during his divorce with Ivana Trump, right?
Right.
That was one of his wives, right, Ivana?
Yeah, Ivana be a Trump. Right.
She revealed that one of Donald Trump's workers, John Walker, used to, whenever he entered Donald Trump's office, he used to click his heels and go, "Heil Hitler" to Trump.
Yeah.
And she said that was probably an inside joke because Trump was proud of his German heritage.
Right. Well, I was just going to say, I have heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I have heard that Donald Trump sleeps with a copy of Mein Kampf next to the bed.
Oh, well, that's next. In the same interview.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where you heard it from. Because then she goes on to reveal that he has a copy of Mein Kampf and My New Order, which is the collected speech works of Donald Trump.
Of Adolf Hitler.
Collected speech of Hitler. Yeah, Hitler.
Yeah.
Well, they're now his, though, because if you look at what Hitler did, his speeches were full of just hate about what's happening with the Jews, hate about the banking system. He also had a problem with the Treaty of Versailles. If anyone remembers their history, the Treaty of Versailles after World War I, right? Hitler, Germany owed money and resources to pay for the war. Spoils of war.
Yeah.
And he really hated that. Well, Trump is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Every time, if he's not talking about somebody's religion, he's talking about the treaty with the Chinese or the treaty with Mexico and how he's going to bring back jobs. But he doesn't say how he's going to bring back jobs.
No, and this is the earmark, Kurt, of a strong man. Okay, a strong man never lays out his policy prescriptions because he doesn't have any that he can tell you that would be palatable. Okay, and so what he does is he points to the other, and then he talks about other nations also stiffing you and causing all your unemployment and causing. The one thing that's missing to sell Donald Trump's ideas like fully is Hitler had the benefit of hyperinflation. He had the Weimar Republic and the Deutschmarks were worthless. And so you needed a wheelbarrow of Deutschmarks to buy a loaf of bread. Our economy is pretty damn good right now. And Donald doesn't have the benefit of that. Now, if he would have run, let's say we had an election in 2009, which we didn't, this could have worked. But also he's boring. He's boring and he's an apprentice at running for president, and it shows. He staffed this whole thing out to his children. That's crazy. Now, I know Hitler didn't have any children, but this is a huge error on his part. And that gives me some glee. Because this really could have worked last night. This was a lot of hatred. It was the death hour. 4:59.